welcome to the first Whalebone webinar of the year. My name is Gordon Daniel. I'm Product Marketing Manager here at Whalebone, and joining me is Robert Šefr, the CTO at Whalebone. Today we're going to be talking about 5G deployment and security, giving you some practical tips that will help you as you roll out 5G to your customers. For those of you who are not aware of Whalebone, we're a security company, cybersecurity company based here in Brno in the Czech Republic, and we make products that help telecommunications providers increase their revenue by providing their customers with tools to help them maintain and get control of their online lives. Today, so a little bit about our agenda today. We're going to go over at the beginning what is 5G, just to make sure everybody's on the same page and get an understanding of the benefits and drawbacks of having a 5G deployment. We're going to talk about making sure that 5G is secure, how to protect that from outside forces. We're going to go into some opportunities and risks in monetizing the 5G deployment, and then follow up and finish out with some question and answer at the end. So without further ado, Robert, can you tell us more about what 5G is and what it means for me as a telecommunications provider?
Thank you, Gordon. I would love to. So 5G, first of all, we understand 5G as an enabler for many different things. One of that is that it enables multiple different devices to be connected and 24/7 online. Besides the regular smartphone, laptops, it enables the connectivity for the Internet of Things. So many different platforms, operating systems, protocols can be connected via the 5G, can be available online. I don't want to dive deep into things like frequencies and 5G hardware and towers, and I mean this is not the purpose of today's webinar. However, what is the crucial thing that everyone understands under the buzzword 5G is usually speed, right? So speed is something that whenever you ask anyone what is the 5G, what does the 5G mean for you, it's faster than the previous generations. The speed provides to the devices new opportunities in terms of higher bandwidth, meaning, okay, I can download higher definition video faster than before. I can enjoy online gaming faster than before. I can get the content to my devices faster. But the speed also means lower latency, lower delay in terms of when I do something, when I click something, that I get the response faster, which is crucial for some particular use cases, such as like automation, self-driving cars, or some high-tech use cases such as a virtual reality or augmented reality. It's crucial for this. But the speed itself, the transfer of the data between the tower and the actual device, can be considered 5G, but it's usually referred to only as 4.5G, because to have the full 5G experience, you don't only upgrade the towers, but you also upgrade the telco network, the infrastructure. There is a particular term called the edge, and that's something that's related to the 5G speeds. To achieve the highest possible speeds, you have to get the content to the end customer as close as possible. Whenever you would like to watch a movie, whenever you would like to enjoy your social interaction on any social network, whenever you would like to play an online game, the closer this content or service will be to you, the better experience for you as the end customer. What does it mean, the edge? The edge means that the actual computing capacity and the storage is geographically closer to you. So whenever you are accessing the particular service, the traffic and your request doesn't have to travel all over through the telco network. It just it's just processed at the edge and returned back to you. So you don't have to send your network traffic via the telco network all over to the core or actually to the internet. Faster experience for you as the end customer, less bandwidth consumption for the telco in their internal network, and less bandwidth consumption of the traffic going out to the internet. So it's a win-win-win for everyone.
So it's both physically closer in terms of where the box sits to a subset of customers or users, and it also has fewer hops to go through within the network, which makes everything faster, as you said.
Exactly. And to enable all those services at the edge, you leverage the DNS. Yeah, this is something what we do, what we are able to help with. Okay, so
can we secure 5G? When we talked about DNS, I think we may cover that in a couple more slides. But how do we go about keeping users secure on a 5G network?
Well, first of all, we have to understand what are the threats and the risks of using 5G. What are the differences? Yeah, we have already mentioned that 5G is an enabler. Yeah, so it enables variety of new use cases. Yeah, it supports new ideas, new services. However, it also enables the attackers doing a lot more than before. First of all, higher bandwidth means for the attackers, they may launch more powerful attacks. They may do the things faster. They may misuse your connectivity to achieve bigger DDoS attacks, to try to brute force more accounts at the same time, or just to misuse your connectivity for whatever purposes they would like, because it will be fast enough for them and they will be happy about misusing them. Another thing with 5G, as it enables more devices to be connected, and also with the adoption of smart homes worldwide, what we can see, more different platforms, more different devices, which are also over the time being abandoned by the vendors, unsupported, leaving vulnerabilities behind, making the devices exploitable to the attackers. So what we can expect, the number of exploited devices and misused devices will rise over time. This is an enabler for the attackers. And how do you protect such devices? The issue with these, mainly the IoT and the embedded devices, is there is nothing you can install on them. You just run them, you use them, you enjoy them, but there is nothing you can install to protect them. You have to do it from the network perspective. And this is what we focus on.
Tell us more about that if you can.
Gladly, and I'll explain how we do it, how we connect the idea about the edge deployment, the network protection, and the DNS protocol. DNS protocol, it's very often referred to as a phone book of the internet. Whenever a device would like to communicate with a server, with another resource, it has to look up in this phone book called DNS the destination IP address. The phone book is hosted on the DNS resolver, which is what Whalebone is providing. And any device, any application on your smartphone, your laptop while browsing the internet, they are all doing the DNS requests to reach the destination resource, the domain, the application, the service, whatever. And we, as Whalebone, we are able to decide whether the destination is safe to be reached by the device, or whether there is a serious threat posed to that request. We are able to decide, okay, should we allow Gordon Gordon's smartphone to reach a particular website, or should we allow Gordon's mobile application to reach a particular server or not? If we consider the destination domain malicious, we stop the communication we send you a notification.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, your phone tried to contact this domain, which is operated by a botnet, meaning your phone is probably infected.
Mm-hmm.
We show you all these incidents in the self-care portal of the telco, so you have the overview not just for your devices, but for your whole family and all the devices at your home.
Mm-hmm.
And should you be accessing that particular domain via a web browser, we will also display a blocking page at that very moment explaining what's happening and why we have stopped you, prevented you from reaching that particular website.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, we're aware of what DNS requests will lead to dangerous locations, and we help the customer stay safe rather by filtering those out and letting them know in various ways how that we have done that, or that we're doing that actively live in the current browser.
The customer and any devices he possesses or he allows to enter his network.
So to bring this just to what we've been talking about, that could be an IoT connected device, or as you said, down the road, a connected automobile. We'll let them know if
anything on the network, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, how this fits together with the 5G, right? We have been referring to the edge as being the actual way how to deploy the 5G telco. And for us, what it means, that all the applications hosted at the edge actually are enabled by the DNS. So to actually deliver all the Netflix, Spotify, or even the gaming experience, you have to leverage the DNS there. What we are doing, we leverage the DNS requirements for the edge, and we add an option to provide a security protection at that very same point, as close to the end customer as possible. Meaning, like if we move at the edge the actual DNS resolver, we are as close to the customer as possible, providing the lowest possible latency, responding directly from the edge, and providing as low number as hops as possible to actually deal with the DNS request from the end customer. Yeah, so the DNS request doesn't have to go to the core of the network, or doesn't have to go outside to the internet, to some sort of cloud service. Yeah. That would mean higher latency, that would mean worse user experience, and actually going for the DNS requests outside of the network also means losing the ability to leverage other services hosted at the edge, such as the before mentioned Netflix, Spotify, etc., because such a client would be pointed to servers outside the network. And this is something that we want to avoid. We want to keep as many communication as possible at the edge.
So in this case, sending things to the cloud creates extra hops, I think is what we're trying to say.
Extra hops for the actual DNS request, but it also points the customer outside the network, which we want to avoid.
All right, thank you.
And since we have seen in the audience there are also some more technical people, I would like to dive a bit deeper into the technology and make sure you understand that we and the Whalebone resolver deployment in the 5G network will actually make your network team happy. How we do that? We follow the native and the standard approaches in the 5G. So our resolver fully supports Kubernetes, fully supports the standards for 5G. We provide the options how to leverage Helm charts to actually deploy the resolver in your network and do the Kubernetes, the heavy lifting in the scalability, availability, and distribution of the resolver to the edges, to all the edges you host, and you can easily plug the resolver into your Prometheus monitoring pipeline to leverage the existing monitoring tools and alerting tools that the team already enjoys. So we don't force the team to use something else, some third-party tools. And we are fully aware that 5G puts quite a strict requirements on the vendors, such as Whalebone. And so we follow these requirements and we deliver safe images, up-to-date safe images for your network to be protected as well, not just the end customer.
Excellent. Well, thanks for that, Rob. Now that we've learned not only the benefit, what 5G is, some benefits and drawbacks in the deployment of 5G, both in a network, and we've seen how that benefits the end user, and we've seen how we can make the network administrator happy. Let's go to the center and start talking about the revenue options, how we can make the product management, the revenue management at the telecommunications provider happy as well. So we'll start off with some risks about monetizing a 5G deployment, and then we'll get into a couple of interesting use cases that hopefully will be relevant for the audience. Starting with risks, we know that 5G, obviously it's a new communication standard. Is there something we can learn from 4G, when that was rolled out several years ago? And there are a couple of interesting things. First of all, when it comes to monetizing a 5G deployment, something really to keep in mind is avoiding the race to the bottom in pricing. I realize that there's a strong interest in raising subscribers considerably by offering the lowest price. That does make sense. However, the problem that creates is that it raises expectations as to pricing for everybody. It drives down pricing for the whole market. And because not everybody is going to churn with their existing carrier and come to you, because everybody's offering 5G at this point, it means that nobody makes money. The second thing to think about and try to avoid, rather, is to create an infrastructure but not have anything to show for it at the end of the day. Think about it as fade to back, right? Netflix and Spotify, these OTTs, they're great. Many people use them, but they were sort of built on top of a 4G infrastructure that a lot of telcos at the time didn't really take the opportunity to monetize. So now there's this friction in the industry between OTTs and telcos, both of whom want to make money, and some of whom are and some of whom aren't. So again, when you're looking to monetize 4G, excuse me, 5G, avoid racing to the bottom on pricing, and avoid this possibility of creating an infrastructure and then leaving it to others to take advantage on the monetization side. There are a lot of ways that are floating around, a lot of means to monetize 5G. I think there's a great place to look if you're looking for broad categories, which is a white paper that Ericsson put out at the end of last year. Obviously, a lot of those things are areas that we in Whalebone aren't really focused on, but we are going to talk today about the last two, doing pricing strategy optimization, in this case around speed, and then also sort of an experiential use case which jumped out at us when we were looking at what information would be relevant for today's audience. So let's start off with the speed use case. Obviously, speed is now a commodity. It's something that a communications provider can offer that's different, that's better than their existing offering, and offering premium pricing based on speed is one of the things that's been recommended in a number of locations. If we read McKinsey, they suggest you can add between 5 and 10% to your ARPU just by doing that. And there is actually some current support in the market for offering premium pricing based on speed. Some of the providers who are out in front of this, Elisa in Finland has a premium speed service option. Telstra in Australia has a speed upgrade. In the States, things work a little bit differently. Verizon, which is one of the largest carriers there, offers a free upgrade and to their existing customers to 5G speed, and then a 5G premium package for new customers. And on this side of the ocean, A1 Bulgaria, part of the A1 Telecom Austria group, is offering their 5G Ultra package, which not only offers 5G speed, but it also offers additional, but significantly greater data limits in that package. And key for us, key for this presentation, they've also bundled their A1 Net Protect security product in with that 5G Ultra package. And yes, I realize that's a lot of talk about A1 Bulgaria. I do happen to be a customer of ours, so that's why I'm talking about it. Another option regarding speed is not for speed across the board, but for time limited speed, right? Where think about it as an impulse buy, where a user wants speed for just a short period of time. Maybe they want to download something. Maybe they're interested in participating, viewing a sporting event. Maybe they want to interact with fellow fans while they're watching that. This is actually it's a great way to monetize speed because you have the impulse to buy it at the time. But it also is an interesting use case for security if you think about the actions that the user is going to be taking, the environment where they might be looking to have that speed advantage. They may not be, they may be downloading something and it may be from a source they trust, but it may not always be as safe as they think it is. Secondly, interacting with fans in a chat during a sporting event. Again, it's a time limited event, so you need that time limited speed offering. But as we'll see in the next use case, anytime there's an interaction option, it can be misused by malicious parties as a tool to engage in hacking. So again, premium speed across the board is one option. Time to limited speed, the impulse buy is another great option. Both of which there is a case for security. The next one is actually something that's kind of interesting. It's the immersive experience, the activity specific use case example. And gaming is a really good way to think about this. So, and here, just for the record, when I say gaming, I don't mean gambling. I mean video games. It's an environment where players really they demand speed. Low latency is absolutely essential, not just for the actual play of the game, but the graphics in the game. They're designed to work with ultra low latency, and poor user experience will cause churn. But as I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, in-app or in-game messaging is a known vector for attacks, for example, by a malicious link. And so this is a place where speed is essential and also security. So for example, there are a number of telcos who are already providing this speed gaming use case. KT in Korea is one of them. AT&T has now a package deal with GeForce Now, which is the gaming platform from NVIDIA, as well as a deal with Electronic Arts, which is a game manufacturer. And interestingly enough, Sunrise, which is a provider from Switzerland, has the Sunrise Gaming Cloud, which is protected during the game play by the Sunrise Surf Protect security product. So there is a nice synergy there in gaming, speed, and security at the same time. I'd like to now take this point to essentially summarize where we've been. Rob, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, we have been repeating the keyword speed like all over and again. Yeah, so I definitely I would like to support the statement that the speed. We understand the speed is crucial. It's also crucial for us. That's why we provide the option for the edge deployment for the DNSs, and we also, I mean, for us, the speed is something that we benchmark all the time, and we understand it's crucial on the DNS level as well, not just for 5G everywhere, but for 5G especially. Yeah. We understand it has to be fast, it has to be at the edge, it cannot be delivered in the same way from anywhere else. Yeah. From the security standpoint, as mentioned, we understand that the 5G is to some extent a challenge. Yeah. The number of devices and the number of platforms, it's a mess, and we understand that we are able to provide and to secure multiple different devices to the end customers, and to combine this with our DNS platform, and to deliver the speed and the security at the same time in the 5G networks.
And as we talked about, just to sum up our discussion about revenue, there are a lot of ways that one can make money and see a return on investment from a 5G network. For our purposes today, we talked about speed options, packages, premium deals, or time-limited speed options, pricing options based on the need to have speed for a particular period. And we also discussed how security can go very well with speed-focused packages, and also how gaming, for example, is an excellent use case for the experiential, immersive, game, 5G experience, and how that can be supported by security to provide an additional advantage in user experience for the end user. At this point, I think it makes sense to open the floor to questions from the audience. If you do need to go to a meeting, or you don't have any immediate questions, and want to ask later, feel free to screen grab our emails there. We'll be happy to respond to any questions you happen to have. As you go, and as you think about the presentation that you've seen today, at this point, we're happy to show, to open up the floor to questions. And I think there may be a couple that are available for us. What is the added, Rob, this is probably one for you, I'm seeing here on our screens. What is the added latency of security?
Yeah, it's a good question as it relates to the speed area. Like doing the decision whether the particular destination is safe or not, it definitely has to take some time. And what we do, we measure this, we measure our algorithms, and benchmark it. What we are able to achieve, and I believe it's state of the art, it's single microseconds, yeah, during the DNS request. So basically, it's even hard to measure, and this impact. We have developed this technology from the very scratch, the security checking, and we understand it cannot influence in a negative way the end customer experience. That's why it goes to single microseconds.
Just one more question we're seeing here. Do you see the threat landscape expanding with 5G? Are there particular novel threats that you envision to be rising, or are there other security challenges?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are new threats we are following, we are fighting recently. I would like to mention two of them. One that's gotten really popular recently, it's smishing. So although it uses the very old way of delivering an information, the SMS, it then actually exploits the phone, exploits the user, tries to phish the user to deliver a malicious application, And to achieve that, it has to go through a series of DNS requests. So it's very interesting because I mean, to reach the users via SMSs, it's very easy for the attackers, and SMS is a channel which is really trusted by these. So they don't really expect fraud in there, opposed to, for example, email spam, etc. People are used to it that they shouldn't trust that, but SMS somehow is understood as trusted. The second example I would like to mention are the embedded devices. Yeah. And anytime we see new customers being onboarded, they very frequently actually discover some already exploited devices in the household. Yeah. For example, I remember a very aggressive IP camera in one of the households doing DDoS attacks to the whole world. Yes, it can have been controlled by the attacker for weeks or months. Yeah, but as soon as we have deployed our technology with Aura there, we were able to stop the communication with the botnet server and report this to the customer.
All right. And it looks like the last question we have, and it's probably going to be one that I'm going to take. Would you suggest having a separate security product or a bundle? So I'm going to take that as meaning, offering security that customers can purchase separately, or it's wrapped into an existing bundle of services. I mean, the easy answer to that is really both work well. Security is something that gives users, peace of mind in their daily online activities. It doesn't necessarily advocate or inspire them to go out and be reckless, right? It's not like, oh, I have security, I can do whatever I want. But it does give them peace of mind. It does improve their user experience considerably because they can go about their existing activities secure in the knowledge that they're not going to be afflicted by these things that, for example, you were talking about, Rob, smishing and devices that have been, compromised. But the nice thing yes, it's a great way as an individual product, not just for the end user, but for a small business, and certainly enterprise security is a whole separate discussion. But bundling is nice because it adds additional value on top of the existing services or products that you're bundling security with. So as we said here, 5G is, speed is a premium. Think about improving by even that much more the user experience of the customer who wants that added speed, securing the gameplay experience so that the player can focus on what they're doing with their controller rather than is it safe to engage with these other people in the game. So that, the short answer is both work very well. But the major focus when you're offering to security is to make it available to the user as simply as possible. Going around and downloading downloading apps onto multiple devices can sometimes, have a detrimental user experience. Certainly there is an advantage to, there are advantages to doing that. I'm not saying it's a bad idea overall, but when you're applying security for everybody to as many devices at once, having it available by one click as part of a bundle or alone, I think is something to remember.
One of the results that I remember from the service that I find really nice, that the end customers, they expect the telcos to provide the security on the connection they enjoy. Yeah, so it really goes hand in hand here.
That is true. So in other words, and you're right. And I appreciate that you've mentioned that. Essentially, it creates there's already a created market for the telco because their customers are looking to them to provide the security experience on top of the other things that they're offering.
And what we say, connected means protected. Yeah, it perfectly aligns with this approach.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Not seeing any more questions. we're going to sign off here. We appreciate all of you joining us today. We got up to more than 50 attendees during the course of today's presentation. And so we thank you for your time. We will make this video available more publicly to those of you who have attended, or even, well, those of you who have not been able to attend, you can't see this, but we will make this available. And on that note, thank you very much for your time. Have a great rest of your day, and good luck in your monetization and deployment of 5G in your network.
Thank you.